The Lives of the Saints by Father Alban Butler. May 25th, Saints Maximus, vulgarly Mose, and Venerand, Martyrs in Normandy. According to the modern legend, these saints were brothers, natives of Brescia in Italy. The former is said to have been ordained bishop, and the latter deacon, by Pope Damasus, and sent by him to preach the faith to the infidels. They first executed their commission in the armies of the Barbarians, which had crossed the Alps from Germany into Lombardy, but seem to have reaped no other fruit of their labors but the honor of suffering torments for the name of Christ. Having escaped out of the hands of their persecutors, they traveled into France, accompanied by 2 holy priests named Mark and Aetherius. They passed through the cities of Auxerre, Sens, and Paris, and having made a halt at the confluence of the Oise and the Seine, pursued their journey toward Évreux. At Aquinay, a village 4 leagues from that city, and 1 from Louviers, they were seized by a troop of barbarous infidels, or according to others of Arian heretics, who carried them into a fruitful island formed in that village by the rivers Évreux and Eternus, and there beheaded them. Mark and Aetherius escaped out of the hands of these barbarians who were conducting them to Évreux, and returning buried the bodies of the 2 martyrs in an old church beyond the island, which had been plundered by the Vandals and left almost in ruins. Saint Eternus was at that time Bishop of Évreux, who, according to all, sat a very short time, and is honored as a martyr at Évreux on the 16th of July, and at Luzarches, a town in the diocese of Paris towards Chantilly, where his relics are kept in a silver shrine, on the 1st of September, and their translation on the 13th of August. He is sometimes called Aetherius, whence some think him to have been the companion of our holy martyrs from Italy, who was chosen bishop after their death. He is usually placed about the year 512, after Mauricio, the immediate successor of Saint God. Some critics place the mission and martyrdom of our saints, and of Saint Eternus, or Aetherius, soon after the death of Saint Taurinus, the founder of the See of Évreux, before Saint God, and before many of the people were converted to the faith, which both the end of their mission and their martyrdom render probable. Nor have we any authentic monuments which ascertain the time either of their death or of the episcopacy of Saint Eternus. When Richard I, surnamed the Old, was Duke of Normandy, and Guiscard, Bishop of Évreux, about the year 960, the relics of Saints Maximus and Venerand were discovered at Aquinay by one Amelbert, who attempted to carry off this sacred treasure, except the heads of the 2 martyrs, which he left with the old inscription engraved on a marble stone, Hic cita sunt corpora sanctos Maximi et Venerandi. As he was crossing the Seine near the monastery of Fontenelle, or Saint Vandril, with the rest of the sacred bones, he was seized with a miraculous sickness, and obliged to deposit them in that famous abbey, and Richard, Duke of Normandy, built a new chapel there for their reception. These relics were burnt by the Huguenots. Those which remained at Aquinay were kept in a church built over their tomb, which was made a Benedictine priory dependent on the Abbey of Conchet. But this church falling to decay, by an order of de Rochechouart, Bishop of Évreux, these relics were translated into the parish church and deposited under the high altar. On their festival, on the 25th of May, these relics are carried in procession to the place where the saints received the crown of martyrdom. In the spring of the year 1559, in a great drought, they were carried in a solemn procession to the church of Our Lady at Évreux, and again in June 1615, when at Évreux these were carried after the head of St. Swithin, also in 1726, and each time the procession was followed with abundant rains. Saints Maximus and Venerand are honored with great devotion in the diocese of Évreux and at the Abbey of St. Vandril.